Cam Thomas has deleted all his Nets related posts from his Instagram page, and he also unfollowed the team. And you can confirm it by looking here. So apparently, Cam Thomas is looking to get he's looking to get paid. But according to reports, right? And I'm not gonna lie, Cam Thomas, he a hooper, bro. Like I'm not even gonna like front. He's a hooper. Gotta talk about this shit too, by the way. Like this right here is crazy, but Cam Thomas is a hooper, bro. Like he's a hooper, man. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Some of the offer that the Brooklyn Nets gave my boy Cam Thomas, yeah, it's kind of disrespectful. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of disrespectful. So now the thing is, Cam Thomas thinks of himself, as you can see here, he thinks of himself as one of those guys, those elite, playmakers, scorers in the NBA. And, he feels like he deserves to be, paid for that level of play that he put up in this past season. So the Nets reportedly offered him a 2-year, $28.2 million deal, which is essentially $14 million a year, which is absolutely disrespectful. Like, I'm sorry, it's disrespectful. Even though Cam Thomas isn't a big name, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking to my homies about him the other day. They're like, "Who's Cam Thomas?" I'm like, "You guys are fucking casuals." That's how I know. That's you could tell who watch the NBA and who really don't. Like, who really like follows this shit and who don't, just by asking people like, have you seen this player? Listen, I mean, everybody knows who LeBron is. Everybody knows who Steph Curry is. Everybody knows who Kevin Durant is. Everybody knows who Joel. And these guys, but James Harden. But it's like, even though Cam Thomas isn't a big name, people who watch the NBA and people who actually like watch the game, they know Cam Thomas is like that. He's one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, this offer from the Nets is disrespectful as fuck, especially coming off a season where he averaged 24, 3 and 3 on 43% field from the field. And it's like, what more do you need to do? Now, it's funny because I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. One thing I don't like about NBA media is like some of these people on ESPN can really shape the narrative surrounding you. Now, I'm not calling Zach Lowe a liar, but I think this is like last week. What is shit at? Yeah. So Cam Thomas, he called out Zach Lowe, who I think he's a reporter for ESPN, and the reason he called him out is because Zach Lowe was on like a podcast and he said that the consensus around like, as far as like Cam Thomas is like, I guess you could say his value or what other GMs and other executives in the league think about him, is that this is a quote from Zach Lowe. He said kind of like a empty calories ball hog. He's basically calling Cam Thomas a ball hog, and he puts up a lot of points, but it really doesn't impact winning, which, I mean, that's casual talk to me. But so when Cam Thomas got word of that shit, he literally at Zach Lowe was like, the consensus, fuck you mean, and the consensus, and he also said, this is most likely the same consensus teams who can't guard me and send double teams from jump ball. Why are we double teaming a guy who's not that good? Make it make sense, please. Now, I mean, it's a good point, bro. Like when Cam Thomas got the rock, people are sending doubles because he's like that. So it's like, I could see why Cam Thomas would feel some type of way about that, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't think Zach Lowe has ever played a game of basketball in his life, and even if he did, clearly he wasn't good enough to get to that level. But I want y'all to hear what he actually said though on his little podcast, whatever.
Everyone has, look, the consensus on Cam Thomas, if there is one, and he's got some fans and he's got some mega detractors, but the consensus is kind of like empty calories ball hog. What do we make of this player who is a restricted free agent floating in the wind? Isn't that much of the?
And my thing is like, you could say that, right? But if you're gonna say that, why don't you put like a name on it? Because for somebody to go out, because I don't think any executive or any GM or anybody in general will come up to Cam Thomas. I mean, unless you're a fan, of course, but like, none of these media guys will actually come up to his face and say that he's an empty calories ball hog. It's kind of crazy, but I could see why, he feels the way that he feels, but it's kind of crazy how like this comes out, right? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't expect the Nets to offer Cam Thomas such a disrespectful offer, you know. And I'm not saying he's a superstar, but I mean the numbers are the numbers, right? The numbers are the numbers. He was productive, you know. So pay that man, man, pay that man. Give him his respect. Give him their respect. So let's read some of these comments. So this guy says him and MPJ about to turn heads if they stay healthy. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Michael Porter Jr., man, I know he feels disrespected, you know, for being in that trade from the Nuggets to go to the Nets. I mean, he won a championship. You know, he got what he deserved, but I mean, he got what he got. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, he didn't get anything out of that. But I know for a fact Michael Porter Jr. is gonna come into this season with a chip on his shoulder to try to prove something because I mean, the Nuggets basically said, you know, thank you for your services. We no longer need you. That's just the bottom line. So, yeah, that deal is disrespectful. He's their main option, which is true. He is their main option. I mean, who else do they have, right? But yeah, man. Hopefully, Cam Thomas could get what he wants, man. Cause I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.